Yo, welcome back everybody. So if you checked out my first video, you know that I'm currently trying to, I'm a junior developer who also just happens to love One Piece. So this channel is built around building One Piece app. I think I might simplify it and build, how do you call them, AI studio apps instead of spending my time here inside of VS Code. So I've gone ahead and done this. Like, I haven't logged in yet. This is since my last stuff, right? So let's say I want to call myself Straw Hat Poofy. Actually, my display name should be, wait a minute, display name, let's just call ourselves Straw Hat Poofy. Username will be Poofy D Rhino. Poofy D Rhino. Can we add an email? Let's add our channel email at gmail.com. Actually, spelled it wrong. Password, a random password works. Let's see if this works. So is invalid. Is it really? Oh, I spelled Gmail wrong. Apologies, bud. Thank you for noticing. So let's make sure account created. Check my email verification. So let me come to my Gmail here offline and let me quickly see if I have a verification so I can confirm my email address. I did receive that and now I'm logged in. Let's see if I bring this over here. You guys can see that I'm currently logged in after verifying my email address. So I can raise my bounty. My total bounty is currently at 0. Can I change that? Save my profile. I can log out. Let's see if we play. What happens if you play? Next question. What is the name of Zoro's three sword style? Dude, what is it again? I guess I got that right. Why does it have A, B, C, D? See, this it's not perfect. So it has two A's and two. Fuck, dude. Reading going Mary Bragman. Of course, there's still some work that I need to do because as you guys notice, there were questions. Everyone's supposed to have four, right? But for some reason, whenever we get to the farther questions, they have multiple, more than four. Which island is known for giant whale laboon, reverse mountain? Who is the main antagonist of the Arabasta arc? That would be crocodile. Okay, so that only gave me two questions, which means we need to add even more questions. What is the name of Luffy's Awaken Gear 5? Sun God, Joy Boy, it's Nika. So it's only giving me one answer per round, which is something I need to work on, right? First round gave me about three different questions before it moved on, but now it's only giving me one answer, one question and answer per round, which does not make sense. What is the name of Luffy's Awaken game? Dude, I've already answered this question. So it only gave me 5 rounds and it did not give me anything pretty much graphically appealing, right? And it's also not calculating my final score whenever I'm complete with the game. There's a lot that I need to work on with this game if I plan to complete it, but pretty much this is a first start. It didn't even give me proper One Piece inspired background images. It gave me a fucking plane wing. What is this? The right wing of the pirate captain? I'm not even sure, dude. But there's still stuff that I need to work on. But as you guys can see over here on my left, I'm out of codex credits. So I think I will simplify this project. I have it open in here in my VS Code. I think I'm going to simplify this project, guys. And let's see, which one actually is it? Yeah, I think I do need to simplify this project and maybe make some fun games just inside of Google AI Studio. I will have it pulling from the database, but I think for the most part, before I get something working, I might cut VS Code out of my workflow just because VS Code, I don't write my own code. I'm pretty much just building off codecs or prompting, and for some weird reason, the agents inside of VS Code just isn't working. Let's see, hi. If I ask it something, hi. Yeah, my agents just aren't working. So I'm not sure what's wrong with VS Code. VS Code used to have, what is it called? Copilot, but for some reason, Copilot just is not available inside of VS Code anymore. I do have root code. I've got open code. Let's see what I can do with open code. New session. What can I do here? New session. yeah, dude, I just don't really fully get open code. I have it installed. I just want a very seamless process, bro. Like, I don't want to make this too complicated on myself. Default auto approve. I don't even know what AI is being used, and as you guys can see, it takes fucking forever to try to pull my API requests. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to cut VS Code out of my work process just for now and work only inside of AI Studio just to build maybe some web applications or just some fun applications that I can host directly through AI Studio. Can also tap into Firebase, which is something like a backend similar to Supabase. So I'm thinking I might just build some apps using, where is it again, dude? Using my AI Studio. Now, given this does not give the best output, some of these might be a little bit pretty, but they don't provide you accurate detail, correct pictures. But it is connected to Google, which I like because Google can pull from the websites that I'm trying to get information from, for example, my fandom wiki. So what I'm thinking is, and I'm going to tell my little Gemini here that I will be moving away from building in VS Code and let's just focus in building prototype apps inside of AI Studio. And from here, I've published a few apps before. They're not the best apps. This isn't really built for gaming. This isn't fucking Claude. What is it called again? Dude, there's like a god level version of Claude. I can't really remember what the name is at the moment. It's not even Haiku, bro. It's like something even crazier than that. And then there's also Kimmi. I've got Kimmi, which is beating Claude in benchmarks, but I haven't fully integrated Kimmi into my workflow, right? So Kimmi, if you are unfamiliar, is a Chinese model. As you guys can see, it might be so heavy that I can't even fully open it on my PC. I am running an Intel Core Ultra 7 with Intel graphics as one of those Lenovo AI PCs, but for the most part, I've went ahead and let's see if there is an update for Kimmi. There is not. Kimmi is just fucking crashed because I don't know, bro. It might just be too powerful for my PC. So if I close Kimmi, I come back and open Kimmi. Is it working? And there we kind of go. But Kimmi is also one of these AI tools. And let me see if we can add a file. Can we open files here, dude? Hi, it's my first time using Kimmi. Can you tell me who you are? Let's see how fast their response could actually be using Kimmi. From what I can tell, it's already pretty laggy. I'm using the Kimmi 2.6 agent, and dude, I don't want to wait this long when I'm asking Kimmi, can you just tell me who you are? So I'm Kimmi and AI, which isn't pretty bad. It's not that bad. So if I add files, let's see. I open up my file. Let's say I open up this file that I'm working on currently. Where is it? The trivia game. Dude, no, just open up everything, bro. Like the entire thing. I guess it's asking me to, how do I add a folder? This folder. What's this? Open in File Explorer. Dude, see, this is the issue, dude. All of these AIs require you to give it so much of your bandwidth, which I just can't do for now. Let's see. Can I add? This is my project. Can you get to know this folder? And let's see if I ask Kimmi if he can get to know this folder. It's probably going to take a bunch of time. It's running some type of command. Allow Kimmi to use. Let's allow it, bro. Hopefully I don't get hacked by no Chinese. But Kimmi has been doing its rounds. It's been outperforming Claude Opus and the new, I forgot what the new Claude is called, bro. The one that can fucking hack government database and all that shit. Okay, so here it's actually reading my styles. It's doing some stuff at least. It's reading my vibe. Probably gonna take some while reading all of this, but it does look like it's doing some shit, bro. Like One Piece trivia. So it realized that I'm building a One Piece trivia. It understands that I have super base icons and it understands my CSS. So round one is 3 easy questions. Round two is supposed to be 5 questions, but that's not the case. It gave me instead 7 rounds with 1 question each. So that's something that we need to fix. So it's asking me what I want to do with this project. Let's see what I can do. Swarm agent, key 6 agent. Can I switch my agent? Key 3 swarm, massive search, chat and agent, research slides, websites and docs, chat agent, flagship, all arounder. Probably should be using this one, work inside a project. So this is Kimmi's own coding interface, similar to Codex, which I've been using here. But as you guys can see, I ran out of Codex credits before I can even get anywhere, right? So let's close off Codex. I have this open inside of VS Code. This isn't even the file that I should have open. Open a folder. It has me in some weird other folder, dude. Hold on, hold on. Where is it? Where are you? One Piece trivia. Select folder. So I have a subfolder inside of this folder. I have one underscore piece trivia underscore game, but my actual folder is One Piece games inside of that folder. So this is what it's trying to default to. But I've got all my stuff in here. This is my main foundation. But what I'm thinking is, instead of doing this, I want to come over here back to AI Studio and opening up back my little AI Studio stuff that I've got going on here. Okay, so this is complete. This is the first video I was working on. Where was I? So I'm going to use this. You know what? I should begin this game. Let's start all over and come back to Gemini Studio. And this time I'm going to show you my main prompts that I was using just a bit ago. It's the coding this stuff. And what I will do is say, and I am using our channel sponsor, guys, Whisperflow. Go ahead and install Whisperflow. I will leave the link in my description or in the pinned comment. I'm not sure if I am able to do so quite as yet, but if you use my code, you might be able to get a discount. I am one of their affiliates and they are a sponsor of this channel. So instead of typing, guys, you can use Whisperflow to 4 times your typing. It's available on Windows, iOS, Android, and it's one of those tools that can emit all of your mistakes. So if you're kind of stupid whenever you're typing, if you take a long time typing, just use this instead. So let me give you a quick overview of how it works while I ask this AI to move forward. So I'm going to say something like, okay, this has been going really well, but I want to take a little bit of a step back. Using VS Code requires me to use a bunch of AI credits using Codex, and I don't want to do that yet. I want to start off by canceling our use of Supabase and using AI Studio, Google. I want you to use prompts to include the backend for Google, which is Firebase and Firestore. So add in this new master prompt. This is a brand new master prompt that we will begin creating the backend using Firebase Studio, which means we will create the auth and all of the schemas, all of the tables, all of the folders that we need based on this trivia style game. I also want it to be something like, how do you say, instead of moving page to page for different levels, I want a neat animation that allows me to move from different segments. I want to build out my inside of my trivia backend using Google Firebase and Firestore backend. So I want each level to focus on a specific arc. We can have trivia question based on several different arcs inside of a level, but for the most part, I want one level to be focused on a specific arc or a specific island that has some sort of connections. For example, if we're doing Alabasta, then all of the questions inside of that round should be related to Alabasta or have Alabasta related answers. And I also want the timer to be a bit slower. I don't want these to be rushed questions. I want the user to actually have enough time to answer the questions. I also want the user to be able to stop the game at any point. For example, they can stop at a certain round and then they can resume the game on their next experience from the round that they stopped. So everything should be saved in the memory of our Firebase backend. I want you to add everything in my backend, all the code, all the different levels. I want to build on new levels. So I will be adding new information from the fandom. I want to also be able to ask you to add different things from the fandom that we can implement into multiple different levels of the app. And then also the reward system. We've already been working on this. So, like I mentioned, I want to dial things back a little bit more. I won't be using VS Code for a while. Everything will be made inside of Google Gemini AI Studio. So let's begin perfecting this. I want this UI to be fully functional for websites, laptops, and also mobile, but I want them to have animation and imagery based on the One Piece manga and anime. So the style and design should include Gemini generated graphics, motion graphics. Everything should be perfect website for One Piece. And I will be adding the fandom here for you to start writing the proper prompts and adding the One Piece wiki fandom into the back end for Firebase. That way we can always be up to date with new lore, with new topics, with new characters as the fandom gets updated. So I am adding the fandom link to this chat and to this project for it to always be referencing the accurate data from the fandom, and of course building my own database of questions and answers, and each question should have the same amount of answers. When I say answers, I mean, what is the word called for it again? Options. Yeah, it should have four options with one correct answer, and we should be building points as we go up. For example, getting past round two should earn you maybe 5 points, and we can keep increasing by points by increments of three, and then six, and then 12, based on the amount of rounds that we get to. I want this to have multiple rounds of questions, but each round should only have a certain amount of questions and answers. So I want to have at least 100 rounds in my back end, but each round should never have more than 8 questions, even at the highest level. So we want to spread them out. The first rounds could have maybe only 3 questions to get by. Whenever we pass 10, maybe it's 5 questions to pass to the next round. Whenever we pass 20, maybe it's 7 questions, or yeah, 7 questions to get past to the next round. And then beyond that, it's like 8 to 10 questions per round. So I want everything to be pulled from wiki fandom, and we can also use our Gemini API keys to start generating images and all that good stuff. Okay, let's see. Okay, it registered all of that, dude. So this is the power of Whisperflow. So I was able to type this entire prompt into Whisperflow without touching my keyboard once. And now I have this full master prompt that I can take over to my AI studio. So I want you to put all of this into a master prompt. Wait, maybe it did give me the master prompt. It's just that I told my AI to help me with scripting this. So what it's telling me is like, all right, everyone, let's take a quick step back. Local dev environments like VS Code and Codex are great, but running AI agents in my CLI burns through API tokens very fucking fast. And we're just trying to prototype these visual ideas. So I want to make building this visually fun and interactive for you guys on screen. So today we're pivoting to 100% into Google AI Studio. AI Studio lets us prototype designs and host complete web apps natively. And instead of Supabase, we are connecting directly into Google's Firebase and Firestore backend. So this is the main master prompt it's given me. So let's plug this into my AI Studio and see what it provides for the first round, okay? So this is theoretically supposed to take care of my back end schemas. Remember, we go back to those SQL code. This is supposed to make sure that everything is being registered to my local Firebase and Firestore backend instead of needing Supabase, at least not as yet. So this is my first design, and it's still giving me Japanese. Dude, you see, I still need some work on this because it's giving me Japanese. Enable Firebase. Let's come back and prompt it. So this is really good, but I don't want the Japanese characters per se, but I would like maybe the Japanese pronunciations of some stuff. For example, Enma should not have the Japanese characters in brackets. It should maybe have the way how it's pronounced or spelled in the manga or inside of the fandom. It should not have the Japanese characters, but maybe the Japanese pronunciations along with the English option being the option that the users will find most familiar. So with that said, let's quickly step this back, and I want this to be more gamified. You're giving me version of this app that seems to quiz like. It's giving me a question. I want this to, of course, have a landscape web app function, but I also want it to be mobile. So I want the questions to be easier to read, and I also want everything to be more visually pleasing. We can use images in the background. Let's make things more visually appealing. We don't need so much text at the bottom. We want to omit a lot of the text that is showing. We just want to, for example, Alabasta Kingdom should not have in brackets any Japanese subtitles or whatever the case may be. So let's make this perfect for an American user trying to learn Japanese, or maybe have some, how do you say, they recognize some of the pronunciation in Japanese, but of course we're not reading the Japanese characters. So let's quickly dial it back before we decide on a design and make sure that everything is working perfectly. So let's see, let's copy this before we do anything from the stop. Can we stop this? Let's do that, and let's see what happens, because I mean, yeah, we can probably go with this design for now, and I guess the other prompt could have came later. And from here, guys, if you are interested in, I can't rename it yet, in just building some prototypes using AI Studio, you can easily publish from here. I am still editing, so there's nothing to publish, but these ideas can then go into my VS Code. But for the moment, I just want to build something fun that I can share with you guys and understand a little bit more of the logic behind the code, what's being written. Because like I mentioned, guys, I've built all this, which is, I'm pretty sure all of this is really good, but for the most part, I've ran out of codex credits, so I don't find it very useful for using long term. I can plug in my Claude code, but I need to pay for an API. Dude, Claude has become so expensive, and Claude was supposed to be what saves us from all of these other API companies like ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok. Claude, Anthropic, they've sold out, bro, and they've become one of the most expensive providers of AI in the space of AI. So I just wanted to quickly run that by you guys. So let's see what this comes up with. I have already asked it to understand my fanbase wiki. I've already read this with you guys in the last chapter, but if you guys know, while this waits, while this is building, I didn't really finish chapter, what chapter was this, brother? Chapter 1189. But what I did mention is that Usopp was the first person to notice that Luffy is hurt in this chapter. So his, what do you call it, his observation hockey seems to be the strongest from everybody else. And like I mentioned in my previous video, it might be because him and Luffy, they're kind of on the same wavelength when it comes to friends, right? Zoro is more like a big brother. Sanji is there for the girls. And yes, he is their cook, but Usopp is the person who I feel connects the most to Luffy. So for him to feel that Luffy is in pain at the moment, it really does speak volumes of Usopp. So then we have Jaru saying like, even if we save the kids, dude, this is just a temporary reprieve. We don't even know what their plan is. Do they want to rule over Elbaf? Do they want to take these kids to What do they even want with this, bro? And remind you, Loki has been laid out for like the past two chapters at the hands of Loki, at the hands of Emu. I'm sorry, bro. Apologies. I don't write scripts for this. So, how many will it take to end the Luffy is just being toyed with by Emu? And Emu is pulling out all of these swords. And if we go back some chapters, wait, it might not be this chapter, but Somers and Killingham was pretty much laying out the family swords to Zoro, and he's just been telling them that the 19 kingdoms that built up the world government that you know today, they've built around these 19 powerful swords, and Imu, for some reason, has access or the ability to grant access to these family swords to families like Killingham's family or Somers, who is, what is Somers' last name again, dude? I I forget, dude. I'm honestly Manmere. No, it's not. It might be Manmere, dude. Let me continue down here. Where can I find it? So Shanks know there's a war coming. Where is the fight between Zoro and Luffy? This is so no, it's not Manmare because Gunko is dude. What is Somers' family again? Somers was fucking mouthing his shit off, dude, and it's somewhere in here. But let me come back to what we're doing here with the app. I don't want to get you guys too distracted or distract the algorithm. So let's see if we've built anything so far. This is still working. Let's see. But Shanks, he knows about the war. He knows that something is going to happen, and Imu is just destroying Luffy one sword at a time. So he's using the blade of the sea god and then we cut down to, let's see, the world government. Everybody knows that the world government is now behind the attack and everything that's wrong with the world currently. So this is quite an absurd story. Is there a king of the world? No one really knows this. We have Ragnar trying to tell Brooke that he froze her because she's dangerous. And then Brooke is a little bit naive. He's like, "What are you talking about, bro? You're the one who froze when she was dangerous. She was being controlled." And Brooke is saying, like, this girl is like a daughter to him. Brooke doesn't understand the danger. And this might be a little bit of a weak point because Brooke is putting too much emotion into this, bro. But what I want to get into is, alas, the third blade, the axe of Xingshan, and he is going to drive this axe into Luffy, bro. He's already driven two swords into Luffy. And then here we have, what's this dude's name again, bro? Somers. So 800 years ago, the 19 kings who created this world, the Blade of Chaos, Tohu Vohu Nemesis. All of these weapons have been brought to the world by Imu. They've been controlled by Imu. So the Great One uses Omen to bring them back to life and distribute them towards his fleet, right? So, oh, this guy Shepherd, this from the Shepherd family. He's from the Shepherd family, and he has the Gram blade. And this spear has been passed down through the Rimo Fushi family, which is this dude Killingham. So he's Killingham Rimafushi, and he has the blade. So these blades are being used against Sanji and Zoro while Luffy is being impaled by two others. And we end off the chapter with another axeman. Just before Imu can impale Luffy with his axe, the axe god himself, Scopper Gaban, comes in and slices off the arm of Imu. And there's a lot of theories, speculations going on that end, bro, this might be his last chapter. It's connecting to my Firebase. I might need to do some shit, bro, but it says it's trying to connect to my Firebase. It should not take that long. Or do I need to do something with my Firebase, bro? Get started my console. I've already have a Firebase happening. Case file. Nah, it didn't happen. The app is stuck inside of a connecting to Google Firebase and Firestore database. I want you to be able to create these database here in the app without me having to manually create them. So create everything that I need for my backend using Google's tools like Firebase and Firestore to create all of the questions and answers and different levels, and also monitor the authentication and users inside of my Firebase backend. So it's still struggling quite a little bit. I've had to give a new prompt just for it to try to connect my Firebase backend, but this is what we're working with so far, dude. Coding or building this app, it's not going to be an easy progress. process. I'm going to either scrap my ideas, learn along the way, maybe start earning some money that I can start spending on some more coding tools. But pretty much, I just want to tie coding, AI coding, and all that good stuff here into this channel and see what comes from it. Yeah. So let me end this one off here, or let me see if it actually connects. Enable Firestore, accept terms and conditions. Where should I do this? I thought I already did this. And this isn't my first app. I've built other apps. Actually, let me close Kimmi, dude. Kimmi might be wasting too much of our fucking resources. Kimmi is one of the new Chinese models, and it's been working pretty decent, pretty fast for me, but it did heat my shit up, and I don't know how much I have to put into it. But let's see what I can do with this AI studio in the meantime. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And I also watch One Piece using Crunchyroll. I am all the way caught up. I've watched every episode of Elbaf. What is this, dude? I'm already logged in. So you guys can go ahead and check out Crunchyroll. I am not an affiliate for Crunchyroll. I don't even like that I need to pay for Crunchyroll. If you guys agree, let me know. So look, this time it actually made some AI images that looks like stuff from One Piece, right? So we're a little bit better off. So play level 1, Romance Dawn Arc, or select an island map. Okay, so these are locked. Good job. These are all good. It actually has a map blurred out behind this dude. This is pretty cool. Play what is the name of the devil fruit eaten by Monkey D. Luffy? Which legendary Meito sword was passed down to Zoro by his childhood rival? Was it... No, dude, it was... What? Was it actually the water? Yeah, dude, Wajo Ichimonji. I should have known that. Which was the legendary pirate king whose execution in Goldie Roger. Which red-haired pirate captain entrusted his iconic, of course you know this is red-haired Shanks. And I still think we're making too much bounty, because from that we've already earned like 6 million bounty. So we're going to have to dial this back. We don't want to build up bounty stats so fucking soon in the game, okay? So what I will do is say everything is looking cool, but I want to start adding some more blurred out One Piece style imagery to the backgrounds of each round or each question. And I also want the earnings to be a little bit less. For example, I got through level 1 and I'm already at a 6 million bounty. I don't want the bounty to be moving so fast because I'm going to level up way too fast. So the bounty should be moving at maybe 25,000 for the first round for each question, and then we can increase that to maybe 55,000 for the second. But we don't want bounties to be earning this much to begin with. We want to even start off by having, you know what, dial it back. The first level can only earn you about 300 bounty per question each. That way we really start off small as a very small pirate. I want us to be a very small pirate with a small bounty, getting started with the first levels, and then we increase. So we don't want to start off too much. Remember, we are going to have up to 100 chapters or levels in this game, and I don't want by the end of that we have too much bounty. So the bounty should really be respected and distributed a little bit in smaller quantities. So that was my prompt to Google AI. As you guys can see, this is what it's built so far. Let's see, posters, and this is what I've earned for the first level, right? Captain title. Yeah, dude, we need to make this a little bit different, right? So guide, we have captains, Monkey D. Luffy. This is where we're at the moment, and I don't want to earn Monkey D. Luffy right off the bat, bro. I want to start adding much lower captains other than just Monkey D. Luffy. So I think my app is working a little bit too far ahead, bro. So we need to dial it back. Pause. We need to dial it back. So we've already unlocked level 1. We're on to level 2. Which devil fruit allows buggy? Let's say it's the chop fruit. What is the name of the brave dog? His name is Chocho. What teeth Epitaph is the navigator Nami known during her Cat Nami burglar. I'm sorry if I'm fucking butchering these words, bro. I'm just trying to beat the timer. Which acrobat swordsman officer in the Buggy Pirates rode the unicycle? Is it? I mean, it's in his bro. So we've passed Orange Town arc, and I really feel exit this. I think we're supposed to have better questions. So while this builds, like I said, guys, I'm still just trying to build these thingies. I was very inspired by this guy who built, there was this guy who built like those fake advertisements. Let's see if this is actually the dude. No, how my app made $2 million. Is it him, dude? No, 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 no. I can't find him. I built fake apps. I need to find them. There's this channel I watched today. Let me see if I can go into my history. Oh wait, here it is. The greatest developer. I recently subscribed to him today, and he built these.
Recently, I made this mobile game. Today,
He made these mobile games from these fake advertisements. Whenever you log into Instagram or Facebook, you see advertisements for these games, these shooting games. And he started making them on his own. He got to sell his company, and so far he's made $2 million in about a year. So I'm not sure. Well, I'm not saying I want to get there, but I at least want to start teaching myself a little bit more development processes. I don't expect myself to know how to code by the end of this because AI exists, right? But I will be bettering my process when it comes to building these apps with AI. That's my main goal. So maybe I can build some games, post them on the App Store. I do have Android Studio, which gives me the ability to publish apps on the Play. I'm currently only running a Windows PC. I need to get myself a new not Windows, dude, a new Apple PC just so that I can get stuff done on the App Store as well. I mainly work on Apple, but my Apple is pretty much just sitting next to me here, dead. It's a 2015 that I was running. What is this called? I forgot what it's called, but it was running like ancient, well, it was running modern software versions, firmware versions on an ancient hardware version. But I need to find something that is M1, and I'm thinking maybe like a MacBook Air from 2020, which runs the M1 chip. I'm thinking if I can add this to my repertoire for like 360 bucks, and this can at least allow me to run Xcode and test some apps cross platform. So this has done this so far. I've asked it for some new stuff, and let me just come back. So from that, what I've done is only made 2,100 so far. Go back to level 3, and I'm gonna exit. But this looks a little bit more like it. I need to work on it just a bit more, but I'm going to come back to this progress. This video is getting a bit long, but this is just my second experiment of maybe bridging coding development with my interest for One Piece. So guys, if you are somewhere within this niche of enjoying AI coding and also a One Piece or overall anime fan, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I will be doing a little bit more of these type of videos where I'm just building prototypes, maybe publishing them whenever I feel them right to publish for you guys to test. And eventually, whenever something sticks, I'm going to start taking it seriously into VS Code, into Android Studio. And in the next few months, I plan to have something that I can actually publish, like a MacBook, to actually start publishing into the App Store. So, with that said, let me end this one off here. Subscribe for the progress, and I'm just a new YouTuber trying to understand how to do all this stuff. And I might come to you guys with other types of formats, but pretty much it will always be just about coding One Piece and just maybe stuff in between, right? So go ahead, like the video, leave some comments if you have some interesting ideas, or if you ever want to collaborate on a project like this. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for stopping in. This has been me, of course. Anyways, peace out. And yeah, let's go searching for the One Piece.